almost to the day, the thriving Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street, where Black business, art, and culture flourished, became the center of one of the deadliest and most destructive race massacres in American history. Now, the new CNN film Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street, takes a revealing look at what really happened on that tragic day a century ago, the damage inflicted, and what is being done now to try to restore Greenwood to its former glory. This is a preview.
The Tulsa Tribune published a series of inflammatory articles that really fomented hostility in the white community against the black community. Tulsa was a powder keg or a tinderbox, needing only something to set the community alight.
And joining us now is the director of Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street, Salima Koroma, with us. Salima, I cannot wait to see this. This is something that has gained a lot of attention here somewhat recently, and I wonder what drew you to the story of Greenwood and the Tulsa Massacre.
What draws me to Greenwood and this story, this story is about the massacre, this event that happened, one of the worst events of racial violence in this country to happen. But it's also about this place called Greenwood that was this black utopia that existed in America that not a lot of people know about. And it is important that we know about the massacre that happened and that we're learning about 100 years later. And I think it's just as important to understand and to know about, again, this black utopia that was created by black people in the 1920s.
Tell us more about that. Then tell us about Greenwood in the 1920s.
Sure. So Greenwood, which is they call it Black Wall Street. Greenwood is an enclave, a black neighborhood outside of Tulsa. And in the 1920s, this is like a booming, magical era for America and for Tulsa. It's an actual oil boom. And, Oklahoma itself, at the time, had the most all-black towns in America. Oklahoma was like the promised land. It was like the dreamland. And Greenwood was a place where, actually, because of segregation, black people were almost forced to create this place. Oil money was, oil was booming, and this community of lawyers and doctors and journalists, and it was a self-sufficient neighborhood in Tulsa.
I mean, I think that is still the dream, still the dream for many black communities. I think a lot of people didn't necessarily know about the Tulsa Massacre until about a year ago when the former president was scheduling a rally there. I think it was on the day or close to the day, and it was seen as insensitive, obviously. And it was scheduled because there was a lack of awareness of this history. So I think it's so essential that you are teaching people about this. What is Greenwood like today?
It's funny when we talk about Greenwood, we talk about the massacre as it was 100 years ago, but the effects are still felt 100 years later. So today, what Greenwood used to be was this thriving black community, and it was 30 blocks of black businesses and homes, and 10,000 people living in this place. Again, I say this, almost this bubble, this, again, black utopia. 100 years later, you have, it was destroyed, but also you had urban renewal, which dislocated a lot of people. And now there are only under 10 black businesses in Greenwood now. So it's only a block. It used to be 30. And now it's not what it once was. So that's what Greenwood is like today. And it's not the greatest. But you know what? It's interesting you bring up, the former president. As I was editing this, not a lot of people know the story. But the catalyst, one of the reasons why this happened, it was actually an incident that happened between a young black boy and a young white girl. And that was a catalyst. And what you had was an incident that happened, and you had a mob go to the courthouse. A white mob go to the courthouse, and they really stormed the courthouse. And I was actually editing the scene around January 6th. And it was very surreal to see the parallels 100 years later.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, Salima, I think it's so wonderful that you're bringing this story, this important history for people to learn about. This is the all-new CNN film, Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street. It's going to premiere Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on CNN. Salima, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It is such important history.